angles at the assembly that saw MCAs divided into factions, some in her support, with the majority opposed to her leadership. While announcing her resignation, Elachi cited threats to her life and that of her family among the reasons for stepping down. Roy Ward MCA John Kamango, who is also the Deputy Speaker, takes over as acting Speaker until a substantive Speaker is elected.
Indeed, I thank God for being a Kenyan who has loved to serve her country. But this morning, I want to humbly tender my resignation to His Excellency, the President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, the President of the Republic of Kenya, and the Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces. And I'll just read what I wrote at night to my President. Sir, it gives me great pleasure to have served as the Speaker of Nairobi County Assembly from September 2017, when we finished the elections, to date. We have seen tremendous change, but also challenges. With the coming in of the Nairobi Metropolitan Services, I believe Nairobi will transform to a better capital city. Sir, notwithstanding, for the last few days, we have seen lots of conflict and even life-threatening incidents. I humbly tender my resignation, and for continuity of the institution, I appoint my deputy pursuant to the law and the new act, the Honorable Speaker John Kamangu, who is the Deputy Speaker, to take over as the acting Speaker and also the chairperson of the Nairobi County Service Board, as the Assembly prepares to recruit a new Speaker. I also leave the Assembly well prepared, and I know we are in court, but the orders were given, and Jacob Gwele was told to step aside. We had Ada Onyango. All of them are in court, and therefore they were told to step aside until the case is over on the 16th of October. And I therefore appoint the acting clerk, who has been there, Ms. Pauline Okuku, to continue serving as the acting clerk, but who is also the deputy clerk administration, to support the Honorable John Kamangu during this period.
Let's have this conversation in more detail with Advocate Steve Ogolla, joining us live by way of Zoom. Steve, many thanks for joining us on News Desk this afternoon. Elachi's tenure has been marred in quite a lot of controversy. She was impeached back in September 2018, had a year out of office, and just returned to office in October last year. Did you see this coming?
Thank you, Michelle. We did not see Elachi's resignation coming because she enjoys support from Jubilee Party leader, His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta. She then enjoys support from the ODM party leader, the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga, and these are the people that control the politics of Nairobi County Assembly. So, Beatrice Elachi's resignation cannot be explained in terms of frustration in the County Assembly. Her resignation must be seen in a broader context of trying to cut to size or to limit Governor Sonko's ability to continue presiding over the affairs of the County Assembly, to continue presiding over the affairs of the Nairobi County government. But I think it's also important to note, Michelle, that resignation is done to the clerk of the County Assembly and copied to the governor. The Speaker cannot purport to tender her resignation to the President, because the President is not the appointing authority. This is another level of government under which the President Uhuru Kenyatta does not control. So I think that clarification needed to be made. She also has no powers in law to appoint anyone the way she's purporting, but she's also right in the sense that in the absence of the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker takes charge temporarily as the County Assembly begins the phase of looking for her replacement.
What does that mean from a legal standpoint if she cannot tender her resignation to the president? What does it mean that the resignation today was null and void?
No, her resignation is not null and void. Her resignation ought to be communicated to the clerk and ought to be copied to the governor. But be it as it may, you know, leadership, Michelle, is not for humor or amusement. When you call a press conference stating that you've resigned, you cannot reverse that. We don't want a situation that happens. Remember the likes of Connie Maina, Jacinta Mwachanya, and the other commissioners of IBC who then quit through a press conference, then purported to recall that resignation. If you look at petition number 160 of 2018, the High Court held that resignation by way of communication as they had done was final and that they were only needed to hand over. So the question of whether Beatrice Elachi has indeed resigned is not in doubt. So what is in doubt now, the ability of Governor Sonko to preside over the affairs of the county without a substantive speaker in office. Because you'll need the County Assembly of Nairobi to pass certain key legislative instruments, including the County Finance Bill, which without the speaker may now be thrown in jeopardy.
Move on. She has blamed, power tussles, frustrations and interference from Governor Mike Sonko for her resignation. How do you think this is likely to play out now?
I think it's unfair at this particular point, Michelle, for Beatrice Elachi to blame Governor Sonko for her woes, because I've already indicated that Beatrice Elachi enjoys unqualified support from Jubilee Party leader and ODM Party leader who control the affairs of Nairobi County Assembly. So Elachi has not resigned for reason that she's being frustrated by the governor. No. The governor himself is under siege. The governor's political future is uncertain, partly because NMS has taken over all the key functions that any county government can perform. Number two, the governor is facing corruption-related charges in the anti-corruption court. That alone makes his tenure to be of doubtful, his ability to complete his term to be of doubtful possibility. So I think Governor Sonko is the least of Beatrice Elachi's worries. I think there's deeper politics at play. The politics at play here is we must watch the coming days. We are likely to see Governor Sonko being rendered totally ineffective and incapable of rendering any function as governor, and the president then invoking provisions of the constitution to suspend the county government of Nairobi or either to pile pressure on Governor Sonko to resign. That is the political consequence of Beatrice Elachi's resignation.
All right, that is Steve Ogola, an advocate there, giving us a bit of context into the resignation there of Nairobi Speaker Beatrice Elachi. Meanwhile, the Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko has spoken